So fresh off the heels of that garbage ass episode with Super be reviewing episode 34. Now I gotta talk about this bullshit ass article. Well, the article isn't bullshit. It's more the answers that people are giving. So in the description box below, I'll link the article. I'll just explain what it is real quick. Tadayoshi Yamamuro, who is the director of who was the director of the Frieza movie, and Norihiro Hayashida, who is the producer of some like the modern Dragon Ball stuff. He did Kai 2014 and the Resurrection F movie, and I think he's currently doing Super. No, that's Atsushi Kido is currently producing Super, unless they change that. Anyway. The reason I'm bringing this article up is because it addresses like some of the garbage animation that we got with Dragon Ball Super. So there is some other shit that I want to talk about in this article. I'll just go from top to bottom. This is just another thing that grinds my gears. But here's another thing. Interesting thing. The article's written by a guy named Manu, which is the same, which is my name if you didn't know that. But anyway, they're talking about Dragon Ball Kai at first, and they were talking about like how it introduces new fans and old fans, trying to garner both, which makes sense. But he also talks about like some of the redrawn shit and how that didn't look very good in the first part of Kai. So and I agree with that. Like I've always said that I like Kai because it got us a better English dub. But those redrawn scenes were just fucking horrible. All the digitally drawn shit was blech. Did not go well and just made it look awkward. And I'm surprised that they went along with that, because that just is very unprofessional and just bad. It's just bad. I think anyone who doesn't know anything about animation can look at that and go like, what the fuck am I looking at? This shit looks like it was made in fucking Paint. Microsoft Paint. And that's what I said. And it's the case. Can we expect a Dragon Ball Resurrection C movie since Cell is the next Dragon Ball villain? They're talking about Dragon Ball movies. There might be something coming soon, so keep your eyes out for that. Yamamura says that Frieza coming back was the idea of Toriyama, which it probably was, but then the producer, the other guy in this article, said in the documentary for the making of the Frieza movie that he was the one who brought that idea up because he wanted for Dragon Ball to go back to its roots. So it's probably Toriyama though, since he himself has said it. While watching Resurrection F, there is some stuff that never gets fully explained. It's not going to be at 100%, but most things from the movie that remain unexplained are made to be explored later in Dragon Ball Super. And that's how you just know that for the Frieza movie was a fucking cash cow. Like, it was just a cash grab. As is everything, but in this case, first of all, the announcement that there would be a 2015 Dragon Ball movie was given in July of 2014. Summer of 2014, and then we only learned that it was Frieza the November of that following year. And from then until I think March 1st, April 1st, or no, March 30th, I think, March 1st. I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was sometime in March. But until then, it was made pretty clear that the voice actors hadn't recorded any dialogue for the fucking movie. And so they took probably around a year to they didn't take a year. They probably took like 6 months just to animate all this bullshit that we got in the Resurrection of film. And it's funny because, first of all, the production, if you look at the announcements and the decisions about like how the movie was coming along in between these announcements, in between, say, when Masako Nozawa and Ryosuke Nakao did dialogue at the Jump Festa for 2014 or 2015, I forget which one. 2014, yeah. And that month before, when it was announced that it was Frieza, like all the little information that we got, it's just apparent to me. I think it's apparent to anyone that the movie, any animation aficionado, that the movie was made half-assed. This is a first-time director in Tadayoshi Yamamura who needs to get the fuck away from the series. These two people who are in the article need to get the fuck away from the series, because Tadayoshi Yamamura, he was good back in the day, but now he just sucks. He's just bad for the series. He doesn't realize it, but there were some animators who worked on the film that they took to Twitter. I think one's name was Agushi Hasashi or something. And they said that what they did for the film was completely redrawn by Yamamura. And quite frankly, the animation in the film wasn't very good. Because whenever Yamamura did something, he draw the character models. First of all, the faces are too wide and too like fat. Second of all, whenever he animates something, the characters move way too slow, and because they move too slow, there is no impact behind when they hit. It doesn't feel powerful. When you watch something like One Punch Man, when Genos or Saitama are hitting, like you can feel like the strength behind that punch, and that's because like they have fucking amazing animators. But when Yamamura is doing this shit at Toei, like you don't feel that. It doesn't feel powerful. It just feels like that's it. So that's bullshit, and I hate that. And yeah, he just needs to get the fuck away from the series because he doesn't know what he's doing. And he's the one that pretty much scripted that entire bullshit scene of the Z Fighters versus Frieza's 1,000 soldiers, which doesn't really make much sense, honestly. But it was Piccolo. It's Piccolo versus Shisame wasn't scripted by him. That was Toriyama, so that's on Toriyama. Even though that entire scene is just bullshit. Well, I mean, there's too much bullshit in the film anyway, but yeah, he needs to get away from the series. And Norihiro Hayashida hasn't really produced anything good. Dragon Ball the Kai 2014 season wasn't very good because of the green screen, that green filter that we got. The editing was awkward, and the music could have been much better. I mean, it was good, but it could have been so much more better. It was reminiscent of Bruce Falconer's score, but it could have been so much more better. Because one of the main problems with modern Dragon Ball ever since Kai 2014 happened was the fucking audio designer and choosing which songs when to play and how frequently they play, and it's just not been good. Anyway, we finally get to the animation issues, and this is Hayashida's answer. The criticism we've received has been way too overblown. Bullshit. Someone put a few video sequences that looked bad onto the internet and people focused on them and talking about an entire series. And that is bullshit, Hayashida, because what you don't realize is that whatever's regular, like the regular, the things that are supposed to look decent or good, they don't have to look amazing, they just have to look like they fit the Toriyama art style. Those look bad, man. If you look at Frieza's model when he has his arms crossed, right after or during when Goku transforms into or maybe right before when Goku transforms into the Super Saiyan Blue, Frieza just looks like. First of all, he has the. Who's that actor with the big ass nose? Well, actually, Majin has a big nose, so I'll just call it the Majin nose. He has like this Majin nose, and his torso is like all the way like where his pectorals should be. So when that happens, Norihiro Hayashida, that's not just a few bad scenes. That's not just a few sequences. That has been happening constantly in your entire fucking series. The animation has been shit, and it is just garbage. And that's just the truth. That's picking on them, that is just the truth. You cannot criticize an entire product by only looking at a few sequences. That is true, but all the other shit doesn't look good. Let me tell you all the good-looking sequences. And you know what? I'll put a link to all the good-looking sequences in Dragon Ball in the description box below. In Super. In the description box below. So you guys can check that out. The first 4 episodes looked good. Episode 5, the character modeling was fixed. Not the animation itself, but the character modeling. That was fixed. But good animation sequences were, I think his name was Yuki Hayashi in episode 12, I believe, when Super Saiyan Goku and Beerus were fighting in outer space. Episode 15 by Ryo Onoishi, when Vegeta and Beerus were fighting each other, and then they collapsed, they flew into the ocean, and then they were fighting underwater. That was by Ryo Onoishi, who in my opinion is like one of the better animators at Toei. And then episode 2, when the alien, that 4-eyed alien, defeated the dinosaur, when he hit the dinosaur with the stone thing, and the dinosaur was breathing fire. And then Naoki Tate's bit, in episode 26, I think it was, when Goku bit Frieza's tail, Golden Frieza's tail as the Super Saiyan Blue. That was animated spectacularly. I mean, even though, of course, the character modeling wasn't on point, but that doesn't matter if the animation is good. And so the animation was fantastic in that sequence. And then Vegeta versus Golden Frieza, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta versus Golden Frieza, that was okay. I mean, first of all, the music was trash that was playing during that scene, but It was a good scene. It could have been much better, but those are the good animated sequences in Dragon Ball Super that come to mind. And then episode 6, the character modeling was pretty good for that too, because it was like very like on Toriyama esque, but but I mean that in the good way. It was like it was I don't know the word to use, but it was good art is what I'm trying to say. And so like there was this one still of Beerus just like looking like nonchalantly like this, like his face was still and he was looking like this to his left, and like the atmosphere of that scene was like very like tense, and you could almost feel scared at that point. But basically what I'm saying, Hayashida, is that this is bullshit. Like, you're just spouting bullshit, and apparently according to like Mayo, who knows much more about animation than I do, he said that this is regular answers that are given by anime producers, so it's not really that surprising. But it's bullshit at the end of the day. And he continues with the answer. The animators responsible for these scenes are newbies who just started working at this level in the industry, which means their skills are evolving right now. Anyway, they are good animators, and I just do not understand why they get picked on to such a degree. Okay, so first of all, I don't. People were hung up on the fact that these guys are newbies. That's actually okay, because probably Dragon Ball is going to get more new animated stuff in the future now that Super and all that. And so for them to improve, they need to actually get experience. And so what better way than to actually get experience and start animating Dragon Ball? So I'm okay with that. Like, they have to actually get experience. But what I don't get is why you don't have any veteran animation supervisors trying to teach them and mentor them. And I already know the answer to that, because you are just working on way too many fucking projects. Dragon Ball Super, Digimon Adventure Tri, Precure, One Piece, World Trigger, the One Piece Gold film that is coming out, Sailor Moon Crystal, which I think is about to be weekly, so Dragon Ball Super is going to suffer even more because of that. The adventures of those One Piece specials that come out, so you have a lot of shit on your plate, and that's causing Dragon Ball Super to suffer. Maybe not just Dragon Ball Super, but obviously Dragon Ball Super is like the biggest victim of this. And I'm going to talk about that in a couple minutes, actually, but then you say that they are good animators, and I just do not understand why they get picked on to such a degree. How can someone who is new be a good animator? Who just started working at this level in the industry, so how can they be good animators? You're fucking contradicting yourself, dude. Okay, you're just talking out of your ass and you don't know what you're talking about. And I just don't understand why they get picked on to such a degree. I already explained why. I think that's self-explanatory. Anyone who doesn't really know anything about animation can look at it still and say, like, this character is off model. They may not know like what constitutes good animation, and they might say that just because a character is off model that's bad animation, which isn't always the case, but it's pretty much fact that 70% of the show doesn't look very good and just looks mere average, bland to shit in between that range. Do you think, and the last two questions, do you think the Japanese industry is producing anime beyond its means? Yes, this is a real dilemma. There are a lot of newbies coming up through the industry right now, and production time is limited. That's the reason why anime quality has deteriorated slightly. For example, in the United States, there's much more control over I can't even talk, delivery time allowed for an animated production, but things don't work the same way for Japan. In Japan, the time for post-production has been reduced more and more to an unsustainable level. The director barely has time to check the final product. There's no time for review after all the work of the animation process, and as a result, the quality suffers. So fix that shit. You are putting this on national television. You are part of the problem because you are producing so much shit. I can't think of another studio, like maybe Sunrise with their various Gundam shit. Like one of them, like Warblood, Iron Orphans, Gintama, maybe some other stuff that I'm forgetting. Maybe I think there's like another Gundam series that they're doing, but Toei is doing like 8 of this shit. They're doing Dragon Ball Super, One Piece, Precure, World Trigger, Sailor Moon Crystal, Digimon Adventure Tri, the One Piece film Gold, which Mayo thinks is not going to look good, and then probably those OVA specials like episode of Chopper, episode of Nami, like those. And so yeah, you just have too much shit on your plate, and you're part of the problem, and yet you're saying it as though it's not your fault, and when it is. But you should just feel ashamed that you're putting something like that onto national television when one of the highlights of Dragon Ball, specifically the manga, was Toriyama's incredible art. And the anime does not reflect that, which is a shame. Last question, is there any solution for this? This has been happening since the introduction of digital technology to anime production because anime series use up all their time in digital production. They trust that the director can take less time to do revisions. It's the same situation for every anime studio. Pre-production takes the same amount of time as always. Production time has greatly increased. Post-production time has greatly decreased. If we do not improve the work system, it will be difficult to improve the quality. So improve the fucking work system, dude. It will be difficult. So basically you're saying that, yeah, that I'm putting out shit because that's all we can do. So you're just admitting like it's a cash grab then. You know, when you watch Gintama or a Bone series or even a Studio Pyro series with great animators like Hiroyuki Imashita or I think that's his name. Some of the dudes who do like fantastic shit on Naruto, and probably Bleach. I think they did some stuff on Bleach. But when you look at Yutaka Nakamura, who's like one of the best, like oh my god, if he could do something for Dragon Ball, that'd be amazing. Shingo Natsume, who directed, I think it was, Hiroyuki Imaishi did Gurren Lagann, but Shingo Natsume did One Punch Man, and I think he sort of helped on Gurren Lagann. Like, those are fucking well animated shows. Like they don't suffer like Dragon Ball Super does. Do you see like? And that's the problem. That's what Toei doesn't get. I feel like they feel like this is just for kids that adults are not watching. Even though they just admitted in the article that they're drawing in old fans, but I feel like they don't get what makes good animation. And that's sad. It's really sad. Like when you look at the other series, they don't suffer from that problem, and Dragon Ball Super is the only one. One Piece as of late, I haven't been really watching the One Piece anime, but I haven't really seen it suffer like that as of the last thing that I watched was Zoro versus Pika, and that looked pretty good. And then actually, it was Luffy going Gear 4th against Doflamingo and then hitting him with the Konga. Like that was pretty good because that was Naoto Shishida doing his thing, but. Even though I don't think he's necessarily the best, but the point is, like, Dragon Ball, like, when it's Shuichi Iseki who did the character modeling, remember when Goku punched Krillin in the face, and, like, the art style was very reminiscent of the old Z? Like, you need him, you need Naoki Tate, you need, who else? Yuki Hayashi, I want Ryo Onishi, like, these are the good people who can do shit. Naoto Shida, if he wants to come back, like, he can do something, too. Even though I don't necessarily think like he's the best, but he's pretty good. Like I still, well, at least in my opinion, at least going off his Battle of Gods film scene where Goku is flying through the cave as a Super Saiyan and then fights Beerus in the sky before they go into space. Like, you know, that's probably the best entire animated scene in all of modern Dragon Ball, just off the top of my head. Except maybe Yamcha doing his Sokidan, his Spirit Ball in the 2008 OVA. That comes close because of the hand movement, but yeah, I mean, like they gotta recognize like who does well, and instead of like bitching about the system, like start changing it. At least to my knowledge, like studios run their shit all differently anyway. So I have no idea what the fuck's the problem. Why can't you just change it? And it's because maybe you're just trying to get as much money as you can, which is, is just what every company tries to do, but I think I've just been ranting too much. Make of it what you will. Check out the... I'm fucking pissed. I'll probably do a Gintama review after this chapter review, because it's the first... that actually put up a smile on my face, because it's the first good chapter in a while, so... yeah, I'll see you guys there.